July 17th, 2023. Amsterdam, the Netherlands. Inside the stylish headquarters of VanMoof, the mood is apocalyptic. For years, this company claimed to be the Tesla of electric bikes. They were the darlings of the design world, featured in every tech magazine, and they raised over $182 million from investors who believed they were witnessing the future of urban transport. But on this morning, the dream ends abruptly. VanMoof declares bankruptcy. In an instant, the company doesn't just shut down, it creates a unique digital disaster. Because of their proprietary technology, when the servers risk going dark, thousands of customers worldwide realize a terrifying truth. Their $3,000 bicycles are electronically locked. The future of mobility has just turned into a pile of beautiful, useless scrap metal. This is the story of how a company tried to reinvent the wheel, ignored 100 years of engineering wisdom, and crashed in one of the most expensive design failures in history. To understand the magnitude of this disaster, we must go back to 2009. Two Dutch brothers, Taco and Thijs Carlier, looked at the streets of Amsterdam and saw a problem. They saw rusty old bikes that were purely functional but ugly. They saw an industry dominated by cheap parts and no innovation. They had a vision: to create the perfect city bike. Not just a bike with a battery slapped on the back, but a fully integrated machine. They launched VanMoof. For a decade, they grew steadily, winning awards and building a niche following. But the real explosion happened in 2020. The COVID-19 pandemic changed the world. Suddenly, everyone was afraid of public transport. Subways and buses were empty. People wanted to be outside. The demand for electric bikes exploded overnight. This was VanMoof's golden moment. They launched the S3 and X3 models. These bikes were stunning. They had lights built into the frame, hidden batteries, and an anti-theft kick lock. Crucially, they were priced at around $2,000, undercutting the competition significantly. Investors saw the sales numbers and went crazy. Venture capital firms poured $128 million into the company in a single round. They opened flashy glass showrooms in Tokyo, San Francisco, London, and Berlin. They were on top of the world. But hidden inside these beautiful machines was a fatal flaw born from pure arrogance. In the bicycle industry, almost everyone uses standard parts. If you buy a Trek or a Giant, the gears are likely from Shimano, the brakes from Tektro, the motor from Bosch. If something breaks, any bike mechanic in any village in the world can fix it. It is a standardized system that works. VanMoof looked at this system and rejected it. They wanted to be Apple. They wanted total control. So they decided to engineer everything themselves. They didn't just design the frame. They designed their own brakes, their own batteries, and most infamously, their own automatic electronic gear shifter. They even used custom security screws that regular screwdrivers couldn't open. This was their philosophy. We design it, so it works perfectly. But there is a reason why Shimano has been making gears for 100 years. It is incredibly difficult engineering. When the thousands of S3 bikes hit the streets in 2020 and 2021, the reality set in. The bikes were fragile. The custom electronic shifters, a complex piece of plastic and circuitry, would break constantly. They would get stuck in high gear, making it impossible to pedal uphill. The custom buttons would freeze in the rain. If you owned a normal bike, you would take it to the shop down the street. But you couldn't take a VanMoof to a local shop. Mechanics would look at it and say, "I don't have the tools to open this, I can't get the parts, and I don't want to touch it." So you had to go to VanMoof. And this is where the logistics nightmare began. VanMoof was shipping bikes back and forth across continents for repairs. Imagine the cost of shipping a 25-kilogram electric bike from a customer in Brooklyn to a service center, fixing a $10 plastic part and shipping it back. They were bleeding money on shipping fees. To make matters worse, their marketing had made a promise they couldn't keep: the bike hunters. They promised that if your bike was stolen, a team of detectives would find it within 2 weeks, or they would replace it for free. It was a brilliant marketing hook, but financially, it was suicide. They were replacing expensive bikes left and right, while struggling to fix the ones that weren't even stolen. By 2022, the cracks were visible. Customer service collapsed under the weight of thousands of tickets. People were waiting months for repairs. Facebook groups turned into support groups for angry customers. The brand image shifted from cool tech to unreliable toy. Financial reports later revealed that for every bike they sold, they were losing money due to the cost of repairs and warranties. They were selling dollar bills for 80 cents and hoping to make it up in volume. Then came 2023. The post-pandemic economy was harsh. Interest rates went up, and the era of free money for startups ended. Investors stopped funding unprofitable dreams. VanMoof needed cash to keep the lights on, but the investors looked at the books and saw a black hole. In early July 2023, VanMoof suddenly stopped selling bikes. They put up a technical maintenance page on their website. It was a lie. They were out of cash. On July 17th, the bankruptcy was official. The aftermath was chaotic. Thousands of customers had bikes currently in the repair shops. The shops closed their doors. People were literally banging on the windows of VanMoof stores in Amsterdam and New York, trying to get their bikes back before the liquidators seized them. Police had to intervene. But the bigger panic was digital. The bikes relied on the VanMoof servers to unlock. If the servers were turned off, the bikes would be stuck forever. VanMoof proved that great design is meaningless if the product doesn't work. The Carlier brothers tried to build the iPhone of bikes, but they forgot that a bicycle must be a robust tool, not a fragile gadget. Today, VanMoof stands as a cautionary tale. The Tesla of bikes became the DeLorean of bikes, a cool, futuristic collector's item that serves as a monument to failed ambition.